A very good evening, and envious of all of you who are watching in the comfort of your living rooms. It's been a fabulous game that we've seen here on the third day of the Dialogue Serendib Cup Trophy. It was a fantastic performance from the Central Province and the Western Province, but those were the two teams that will precede what we are going to be seeing today between Sri Lanka and Poland. It's going to be a fantastic game today. Although the heavens have opened and the showers of blessings have come down on this Dialogue Serendib Cup third day, the final day, Madagascar have already won this tournament, but there is a massive battle going to be taking place for the runners-up tag in this tournament. Whoever wins today will be the first runner-up, and nobody wants to be the second runner-up today. But this Poland team will have been licking their lips, looking at the weather falling down. It's the winter game in Europe, and they will be very, very happy for the conditions because they've got an 850-kilogram pack, and the big Sri Lankan Tuskers will want to make sure that they beat those boys up front and make sure that they don't allow them to roll it and roll it and roll it and rumble it forward as the Poles will be wanting to do. So although the rain has cleared up a little bit, it's still a little bit wet underfoot. The rain is still coming down. The lighting has cleared up, but it's not going to be as bad underfoot as it was for the Western Province versus Central Province game. It was the Central Province that won 19 points to 8. But to talk us more about the Sri Lanka-Poland game, which we'll be seeing in just a few minutes, Amaya is with the tournament director of the Dialogue Serendib Cup, Mr. Dilroy Fernando.
And I have with me a legend in rugby here in Sri Lanka, a man who needs no introduction, but he is today the tournament director of the Serendib International Cup 2013, Mr. Dilroy Fernando. So, sir, let me hear it from you. Has this tournament exceeded your expectations?
Yes, well, unfortunately the team couldn't win the last match, but as far as the tournament is concerned, I think the underdogs, no one expected Madagascar to do so well. But they did well against Sri Lanka. We were unfortunate to lose that first game. And then they did well to beat Poland. And today I'm sure our boys will definitely do well and be the first runner-up in the tournament. As for the tournament, it's the first time of this type of tournament that was held in Sri Lanka, which is sanctioned by the International Rugby Board. And also, this type of tournaments have been encouraged by the International Rugby Board because it's something that you play not within your region, it's something outside your region. And I'm sure it's a huge plus point to Sri Lanka rugby, and we should have more and more tournaments of this nature in future.
Of course, and I'm sure the Tuskers are waiting for a chance to redeem themselves after the first match against Madagascar. But let's talk about the strategies that they can employ for this match.
No, I'm sure they will give 100%. They know that they lost the last match. We could have easily won the game, but then there were a few mistakes, with the ball handling and things like that. I'm sure the boys will do well today.
So the Serendib International Cup is going to become a regular fixture here in the rugby calendar in Sri Lanka for the years to come as well?
Well, that's a plan of the Rugby Union, and also the International Rugby Board wants more and more tournaments to participate in this tournament. So with more and more sponsors, I'm sure we could definitely do well and have more teams to come in and more sponsors to rally around the Rugby Union and do well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dilroy Fernando, a great man of rugby here in Sri Lanka. It was a great pleasure speaking to you today. And of course, as he mentioned, this is the deciding game for Sri Lanka as well as Poland, the first IRB sanctioned tournament to happen here in Sri Lanka, and world rankings are at stake here. So it is going to be an exciting battle on this field, and I'm going to throw you back to the commentary box to hear more about what's the latest.
Thank you very much indeed. There you go. Sounds from the tournament director, and you saw the Polish team walking in the background. The Dialogue Serendib Cup, here we are. It's raining, but the lights are on. It is an imposing sight. Conditions underfoot, as Shanaka said, is going to be tough. When you get out there, it looks wonderful on top. And Ajit is sat next to me. The billiard top here at the racecourse is the perfect running surface. But having said that, let's have a quick look at the Polish side. And I think best give Shanaka, because he's such a good fellow with the Polish names.
Well, this is the full squad. Sean, we're not saying just the first 15, but that was the prop who will start. And in the second rows, we've got Mirosh, who was one of the chief ball carriers last time, and Perzak, who also stands a lot on the outside, on the corners. And Marek Plonka, the flanker, who's again one of their go-to line-out men. Majcha, who also plays on the blindside flank. Pavel Dubrovsky, who carried the ball a lot at the number 8 position. And that's Miros, who I was talking about earlier, plays in the second row. And Janetko, who is the scrum half. have a lot of work today, have a lot of running, I think. And Loren Tovic, who is the fly half, a lot of weight on his shoulders today because he will have to control that game. We didn't see much of Zriba, who scored a try, but Thomas Gaskis and Lucas Sebastian are two players that they will have to look to defend this nippy Sri Lankan three-quarter line, this rejigged Sri Lankan three-quarter line. Thomas Rasikki, Robert Pavlicek, and Simon Siroki, who scored the try, also scored a try against Madagascar. And that's the captain in the middle there, David Banacek. And Marek Plonka is the head coach of Poland. So that's the Poland side. And these are the officials, Gregor Wiczak, who is the manager. They will be very, very happy that the conditions are as they are, because they will want to play the game much tighter than Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka would have thought that they could set their wingers free in this game. We might see a lot of kicking. So Niroshan Fernando's selection will, in hindsight, look like it was very good. Here's the Sri Lanka team. Nama Rajapaksa, the captain. Jalal comes into the squad, and Achala Pereira also is a reserve hooker. These are two big props. Pravin Dushmanta on the right and Podi Swarnatilaka on the left. He's been around for ages, Sean.
He's looking like Mr. T, day by day.
These are the other prop forwards in the squad. Duminda Pulikutti Arachi, Terence Henry, who will start today, and Satya Ranatunga, who will start on the bench. Ranatunga, who started most of the Asians 5 Nations games. And these are the two second rows. The one on the right is injured, Hasita Pereira. He will not be taking part in today's game. And Sharo Fernando, who plays on the flank, also has moved into the second row position. Ishan Noor, Rohit Rajapaksa, who makes a start today alongside Tanushka Pereira in the flank. And that's the man who's going to be carrying the ball a lot for Sri Lanka today. Bilal Hassan. Sajid Saranga is also in the second row today. And Anjana Kavidudi Costa is the reserve scrum half. He's not starting because Srinath Surya Bandara has been drafted in as a replacement for Rehan Virakun. That's the Virakun I was talking about. And Niroshan Fernando, after a bit of a shocker on debut for Sri Lanka, finds his second start. And now that he's got that horror game out of the way, he will give way at some point of the game to this man on your left, Fazil Marija, and Dev Anand, his cousin. Lavanga Pereira makes his first start for Sri Lanka today, makes his Tuskers debut. Pradeep Lianage is not in the side today, neither is Dinusha Chaturanga. And in that rejigged midfield, we will be seeing Nigel Ratwata coming in, although Lee Kegel and Sandun Herath who will start on the wing. Lee Kegel will start on the bench. Chamara Dabre, Mohammad Riza and Nuan Hettiarachi is on the right. Riza Mubarak, he scored all the points for Sri Lanka in the last game. Ronnie Ibrahim, Sumedha Malavan is the assistant coach, and Rohan Chintaka is in his familiar role as manager of the Sri Lankan Tuskers.
And here they are, Shanaka. Well done with those names, and the lads just waiting, itching to get outside, not conscious too much of the weather, although the conditions they'll have to adapt to as they come out now for the official lineup, and of course a chance to stand up in front of this very imposing grandstand and almost a full house. It is a wonderful sight here for Sri Lanka to come out, and His Excellency the President and the First Lady, as they always have done. The biggest sports fans here in Sri Lanka, spending time despite the weather here to see their lads come out and play as well. And what an imposing and wonderful day for Nama Rajapaksa to be able to lead his side out. And if they can turn the tables on Poland, who's very confident, I'm sure, after what they did against Madagascar. They almost had the game against Madagascar, but Madagascar a little bit sharper and fitter and a little bit quicker on the day, and Poland ran out of steam towards the end of that game. But today, with the conditions, with the rain, the weather is not going to affect them because it's nice and cool outside for Poland, so there's no chance of the humidity hitting them. But of course, for Sri Lanka, a lot of questions will be asked out of their defense. Have they got what it takes? Can they stall this big juggernaut pack and stop the rolling eight? I rather think, Shanaka, it's going to be tough. Having said all that, because for Poland today, as His Excellency the President, followed by Asaka Simrata, the President of Sri Lanka Rugby, big smiles on their face, and hopefully, Shanaka, the smiles will carry through, and Sri Lanka will answer all of us. The Honourable Minister of Sport as well in the welcoming party. Mr.
Well, I
Risley.
think, Sean, the big smiles are because the rain has finally cleared up, actually, just in time. And he's wearing a nice new suit, so he probably didn't want to get that wet.
Perfect timing. And there you go. Nice sight, big smiles.
His trademark red sash, of course. More used to seeing him in white, but he's made a little bit of an exception for this. Meets with Debacek.
The president just walking down the Polish line.
Sean, what we saw in the earlier game against Madagascar was the passion of the Polish players when they sang their national anthem. A lot of emotional energy given to that, and I was also thinking that they may have really spent some calories when they sang the song with the anthem with such gusto.
Certainly.
And that's an emotional moment as Nama Rajapaksa is met by his father, and then we'll see the rest of the team.
Yes, and he walks down the line past his younger brother as well, Terence Henry, Kegel, Ishan Nur, Riza Mubarak, Ratwata Nigel, Samnun Herat, Heti Arachi, Kasun, or Kavind, sorry, and just down the line, Dev Anand there. Bilal Hassan has got a lot of work cut out today. Coach Ronnie, manager Rohan Chintagan, of course, assistant coach Malawana, who's got a step-up mark for himself, just having to work today to really see what Sri Lanka can do. Shanaka is going to be tough as Rizli Ilyas just shakes the hand, secretary of the hard-working Sri Lanka Rugby Football Union, who've got a lot to look forward to, because this IRB-sanctioned cup is the first of its kind, and I hope the first of many, as His Excellency makes his way back now. The rain has eased off, it's just a little drizzle, and that's also perfect timing.
Yes, it's fantastic timing, and just as we were hoping that it would be just a short, sharp shower, it wasn't very short, but it was very sharp. And it has drained out nicely. I was just walking on the ground, Sean, and it looks like it's not so bad. It has drained out pretty well. So even in my leather shoes, I wasn't squelching into the ground. So I think these boys will have a chance to run it as we wait for the national anthems of Poland and Sri Lanka before the runners-up match, the second place playoff, as it were, as it has become, between Poland and Sri Lanka at this Dialogue Serendib Cup.
Too true. And Ajit was talking about the gusto with which the Polish team sang their anthem. And they really did scream it out with all their heart's worth. As we wait now, as the visitors' national anthem will be played. Here we go.
Present here for the team introduction. Now, respective national anthems. National anthem of Poland.
Sri